Okay.
My name is Abina Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Kemau to Cape Palm, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday, from Monday to Sunday, it's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Anson Sier. A pleasant welcome to Focus on Liberia. You heard it there. This is, of course, the hour of politics with me, your host. In today's edition, we have honored to have the man, Comrade Arvin Weah, Vice Chairman of Political Education. That is, they say, the Mighty Congress for Democratic Change. Mr. Weah also served as Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Agriculture during the presidency of President George Weah. Comrade Weah is known as a very active political player in the politics of Liberia, a young political intellectual among his peers, and he's here for us to have a national discussion. We have a topic though, and that topic is scintillating, politically speaking. Government under President Weah versus government under President Boakai. At this time, it is my honor to welcome my guest, the man Arvin Weah. Comrade Weah, welcome. How you doing? How's family, brother?
Well, thank you. Thank you, comrade. And let me appreciate you for the invite. It is an honor to speak to the Liberian people through your noble media entity. My family is doing well, and I want to appreciate God Almighty for counting us among the living.
Indeed, to be counted among the living is a blessing. For far too long, we've seen even people and us, born the same time, have left us very soon. Let's get to business here. My fellow Liberians and listeners across the diaspora and in our homeland, Liberia, I am Anthony Sier, and today we sit at the intersection of reflection and responsibility. Joining me is Mr. Alvin Weah, former Assistant Minister for Regional Development Research and Extension under the CDC administration. He is a known stalwart and unapologetic defender of the CDC legacy. In this interview is not about personalities. It is about policies, outcomes, and the future we owe our youth. We will dissect some key issues on governance, from education to economic conditions, to the fight against drugs and corruption. Mr. Weah has accepted to speak candidly, and I intend to ask tough questions that many Liberians take carry in their hearts. So let's begin. Mr. Weah, we cannot welcome you enough. We will start with this segment, which is composition of government. And remember, our topic is government of Liberia under President Weah versus government of Liberia under President Joseph Boakai. We are looking at the composition of those two governments. My question here to you, Mr. Weah, is simple. Under your government, Mr. Weah, how do you justify the overwhelming dominance in the minds of others of policy loyalists in key government positions during the CDC administration, often at the expense, others argue, of technocratic competence and regional balance? Mr. Weah?
Well, thank you for such a brilliant question. In terms of your premise about dominance of the partisan loyalists and overall competent and technocratic people in terms of the governance on CDC, I think I want to categorically reject such categorization and disagree fundamentally on the issues about partisan loyalism in terms of the governance on a former President Weah. If you go back to the 6 years on former President Weah, our governance infrastructure in terms of the composition of the government gave Liberia the sense of belonging. What constituted a government of inclusion. Okay. You can bear witness when the former president of the country, under the banner of the Congress for Democratic Change, by extension, the Coalition for Democratic Change government, took over in 2017 to 2018, upward to 2023. We ensured that our government reflected the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Evidence to that. The first thing we took over, we allowed people who were into strategic positions, civil servants, HRs, and directors of different governmental positions within the hierarchical structure, in terms of the governance architecture or the governance infrastructure of composition of the Weah administration, were allowed to live in their respective positions. They were placed in their respective positions. They were left in their respective positions without being arbitrarily dismissed and taken out because of political reason. And people with top government official positions under the then government, the Unity Party administration of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Joseph Boakai. Some of them, very notable characters within the Unity Party, were also appointed and reappointed to strategic positions under the CDC administration. You can remember the name of Mr. Sam Guru at the Ministry of Transport, right? And a couple of those people were left with strategic positions in terms of their appointments under the Weah's administration, 6 years of stewardship. So I want to reject that categorically, that we orchestrated partisan loyalist governance that was a composition of people who were only partisans of the CDC rather than recruiting technicians and technocrats. We had the best of those technicians and technocrats because we ran a government of inclusion. We ran a government of diversity that did not go after people because of partisanship, or that did not run after people because of tribal bigotry or ethnocentric alignment in terms of the politics of the country. So our governance system was clearly non-tribal. It was non-religious. It was non-partisanship. It was non-partisanship driven. It was purely on the issues about bringing Liberians with the requisite credential, competence, skills, education to be deployed at a public service to provide social, economic, and political governance under the Weah's administration. That's why you saw clearly that there was significant impacts and interventions we made in structural changes, in social economic changes in the different sectors and then the spaces that we occupy 6 years of our leadership. So that was a government of inclusion. It was a government of even the former defense minister, I can remember, I think one of the, I think Chief of Staff, yes. He was also, a couple of them left in our administration, and we never.
So, Mr. Weah, you are rejecting outrightly the observation by many Liberians that during your time in government, you have more of party loyalists over technocrats. Many have observed you have someone like Josephine Davis at the Ministry of Commerce to be inspector. You have Jefferson Tamakoji as city mayor. We're talking about city ordinance, yes, city development, city planning, and all that. And you have Mr. Koji. Or even point finger at you that you have been in school then and you were given a position at the Ministry of Agriculture to be assistant minister. Some people believe that is a position for technocrat. So many people. And you are saying this is not the case. I just cited example of just few. And the other allegation is that your government was dominated by people from the Southeast. You reject that as well?
Of course. I think the issue about calling names, we have to surpass that in this country. The last time, if you take a photographic memory about names callings in terms of national stereotyping and trying to ostracize, isolate, and alienate people of certain particular backgrounds, I think it's dangerous for our democracy. We have to, in this time and dispensation of our fragile democracy that all of us are nurturing. I believe, and I'm of the strong opinion that name calling and stereotyping is going to cause more.
But you are all political actors, and so we won't mention you. You are Couple 7, right?
I'm saying to you, people have to measure. How do you measure performance in terms of if students of public administration will tell you, as administrators and policy makers, performance appraisals are measured based on outcome and not on the nomenclature of individuals. I would have expected you to tell me what were the games or were the challenges.
I'm sure you value qualification and experience as well, Mr. Weah, isn't it?
Yeah. So what I'm saying, people were appointed to different positions in government,
right?
But the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, it is the sole prerogative of the president to appoint and to also dismiss, and the Senate constitutionally has statutory responsibility to confirm or to reject. So those who've been appointed by constitutional means under the president and later on been confirmed by the president cannot be projected in your analysis or in your line of questioning as incompetent people, because they passed through the rigors of the Senate. They were vetted, and a majority number of the senators voted and expressed confidence in their ability to serve. So people who pass through that processes or those processes cannot be categorized in such a negative projection that you are making on this show. So I'm saying,
Mr. Weah, if I
yeah.
may follow up here, sir. I mean, I get why you are saying, that these people were appointed by the president is the sole prerogative of the president. Yeah, he has that constitutional power.
We're
talking about putting premium. We're talking about putting premium on qualification.
They were also vetted by lawmakers, including some of the senators and lawmakers from the very Unity Party. Myself passed through the appointment process, and I was also vetted by some of the very lawmakers of the Unity Party. So the argument if individuals were incompetent and unqualified to serve in particular positions under the then administration of the former president, then so those individuals would have been rejected by the Liberian Senate, because the Senate can either approve or they can either disprove your confirmation or approve your confirmation. So if that power legal entity, that legal body or entity that is so responsible to do confirmation with vet having Wisa, for example, Jefferson Kochi, and other individuals who you claim allegedly that were incompetent and unqualified to lead or to serve in public positions, then the Senate will not have. Why is it?
So, Mr. Weah, the premise of my question is based on, I'm in the media. The premise of my question is based on what, being put out there by your critics.
By
your political opponent. All right.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the opportunity. Hold on, Mr. Weah. I'm giving you the opportunity. I'm saying I'm giving you the opportunity now to speak to that.
That's the reason why. Yeah. So I'm not speaking to you in particular.
Okay.
I'm speaking categorically to those who hold such a narrow perspective and myopic opinion on why people else, the names you just enumerated, the names you just listed, why they went into governance. My question to them: why the Senate confirmed them? And besides that, let's elevate the composition.
Let's do that.
Let's elevate the composition. The president appoints and he dismisses. So constitutionally, all Liberian citizens have got the right to work in that government and if they are given appointment opportunity, it is their constitutional right to serve. So if people want to challenge the power of the presidency, then it means that they are not doing it from a broader perspective in terms of looking at what the Constitution says and what the Constitution gave to the president who has the appointing power. The next thing is that even the next thing is that even the senators, we got different senators. They were not only CDC senators, they were opposition senators that were there. When the president appoints, the Senate confirms. So the senators have also confirmed these people. Are you telling me those people were incompetent enough to have made sound decision about rejecting those that were appointed? On the flip side of their argument, I believe that performance appraisal must be clearly on the individual's ability and ability to make decision based on his or her function and assignments in a particular position, rather than the names and rather than the.
And do you hold the view that all officials appointed under President Weah demonstrated competence and delivering the result? You think they were up to the task?
Very much up to the task.
Okay.
Very much up to the task. So I'm of the opinion and of the view that competence is not measured on the number of accolades or the number of degrees you have. Competence must be measured on the output of a given assignment that is ascribed and assigned to you, delivering your functions in the public domain and public space as a official of government or as an official of government.
And I agree with that 100%, Mr. Weah. I agree with that 100% that competence is not tied necessarily to credentials. Somebody may have the credentials and may not be able to deliver. So I am more about deliverables or deliverability, or Satya would say. But talking about the other side of it, before we come to giving you the opportunity to speak to the composition of the Boakai administration, because you spoke clearly to your government composition, right? God, I want you to be able to contrast that. But one final leg I bring in here is that I'm sure you remember Senator, what's his name, Peter Kuma of Grand Crew County. I'm from Grand Crew, Avin, and he having to be my senator. At some point, Peter Kuma said, and I quote, that they had to swallow the bitter pills and even close their eyes to confirm some of the people who were appointed, unquote. Peter Kuma was expressing remorse. My understanding, and that is the understanding of many people, is that he knew that some of the people who were appointed by President Weah were not best suited for those roles. And yet they had to confirm those individuals, more so because maybe, the appointment came from President Weah, maybe he was a CDC, senator at the time, and he didn't want to embarrass the president. Some people feel that was the case. I want you to speak to that.
No, I think if the senator ever said that, then the senator has to go back to elementary service in terms of understanding the three fundamental responsibilities of a lawmaker, the functions of a lawmaker. The people of Grand Crew County elected him on the basis of what a lawmaker should be in terms of his responsibility. Representation, oversight, and lawmaking. So if you say you will abandon your oversight because of some political interest or because of some compromise, then it means that you are now. Then it means that he's not worth. He's not competent as well. He's not qualified to even be a senator for a very serious county. You cannot be a lawmaker and make such a dangerous exception on the public media or in the public media, particularly compromising the ethics, compromising the statutory functions and responsibilities of a lawmaker. Every lawmaker has a function. That is representation, lawmaking, and oversight. How can you come back? So these are all feeble and flimsy excuses. When people are given public opportunity, public power, public position to govern, and when they fail miserably, they tend to use others as political scapegoats to try to play clean and try to play innocence in terms of their failure to execute and discharge a particular responsibility assigned to the Liberian people at the legislature.
And Mr. Weah, I don't agree with you. That is a fair assessment of that behavior from the senator. I remember very well he said that. And so the final piece of this is that you have given me your assessment of the CDC government or government under President Weah. Today we have President Weah Boakai now as our president, and he has put together a team of cabinet. If you look at his cabinet today, and you look at President Weah cabinet, and President Weah cabinet was being deemed incompetent, and then Southeastern dominance, the politics that you guys play. Assess or compare President Weah cabinet with President Boakai's cabinet. What will you say, sir? Is Boakai cabinet more prepared, more competent, and filled with technocrat compared to President Weah's cabinet?
No. I think the Mr. President Boakai's cabinet is the worst cabinet ever in the history of governance. If you can look at the configuration and the composition of the cabinet under Boakai, the first thing is that is lopsided, is driven to a particular group of people. One, if you are not a member of the United Party, you are not privileged, or you cannot be fortunate to hold a cabinet position. So you must have been an apologist or a surrogate of the United Party, projecting the United Party image in terms of solidarity, whatever, before you are appointed. You do your own. Look across the cabinet ministers. Go to their ministries and see for yourself how many oppositions who host diverse opinions, opposing views to the current United Party's administration that are being appointed under the Boakai's administration. No, the United Party government currently does not promote government inclusion. Absolutely does not.
And what made you say that? Mr. Wisa, are you with me? All right, folks, if you are just joining us, this is the Hour of Politics here at Focus on Liberia. My name is Anthony Sie. We have with us as guest former Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Alvin Weah. Mr. Weah is a Vice Chair of Political Education at the CDC, that is the Congress for Democratic Change. We might have just... Okay, yes. Go ahead.
I will share a list. I will share a list with you. I'm trying to get that out. I'm trying to get that out from my phone. I will share the list with you. We have
I have that list. I have that list. That list has been going around. I'm in the media, so I also have it. So talk to me about that list. What do you want to say about that list?
That list, about 50 plus appointees of government who are from Lofa County are holding key positions under the Boakai administration. This is tribal bigotry to the zenith. This is tribal ethnocentrism to the core. It tells you how Liberia has gone back to the days of tribalism and regionalism, where if you are not a member of a particular tribe or a particular political cabal or political party, you are not privileged and you are not opportune to work in the governance system, the national governance infrastructure, in terms of your competence, in terms of your qualification, and whether you have the credentials to serve your country, no matter the situation is. So, that list you saw over there, the list in your possession is indicative of the kind of system, the kind of government Boakai is running today in our country. A majority of the different strategic positions, go to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, go to the Chief of Staff, Teresa Follett, go across the government agencies and ministries. Cabinet ministers who are working now as appointees of government are people who are directly proportional to the tribal interests and the political interests of Mr. Boakai, rather than recruiting technicians, technocrats, and people that have the education, requisite skill to be deployed for public service governance and for for public service governance in this government. So across different ministries and agencies, Lufians are dominant. They are dominant in terms of employment, in terms of opportunity then provided for people who are serving in positions, the cabinet positions in the country.
Mr. Weah, I've seen the list. It's been around for a while now. I've read it. Many have read it. But have you people been able to verify this list, the accuracy of this list, the truthfulness of this list, that all these individuals mentioned are from one ethnic group in Liberia? If it is verified and proven to be true, what is the danger with that? Do you find any danger? They are Liberians who I believe are competent and qualified for these roles, isn't it?
Well, the danger is that the country called Liberia experienced 40 years of unrest, devastating civil unrest, civil crisis. One of the reasons why Liberians experienced 14 years of unprecedented, devastating civil unrest and civil crisis in our country, it was because of those different tenets that were inimical and contrary towards, national stability, contrary towards political coexistence. For example, political exclusion, marginalization, the issues about political isolation, and the issue that has to do with prioritizing a particular group of people, a particular group of a segment of the Liberian population, a particular group of segment of the Liberian society over the majority of the Liberian people. And those things culminated into what we went for, what we experienced during the 14 years of civil unrest in our country, for which 250,000 of our compatriots have to pay for their cause to arrive at this democracy, which is under now the new dispensation after the war, post-war Liberia. And in the post-war Liberia, we have to be cognizant of history. Like George Shadayana said, those who don't read history are born to repeat the mistakes of the past. So We cannot continue to retrogress the country's fragile peace and security back to those things that cause the civil unrest in our country. By coming to power as a government, President Weah and President Boakai rather has purported himself to be somebody who have had so much governmental experience. Particularly, he's been projected as somebody who, for the 2 years experience in government, one would have thought that with his purported for the 2 years of experience in government, he would have opened the country, opened the governance system of our country, bring both professionals, bring more technicians and technocrats, and ensure that you have a government of inclusion. But on the contrary, what we're experiencing today is that we are experiencing a tribal empire, a tribal dynasty, a tribal state that is being governed by tribal bigots. And if you're not part of the low-fat country and you subscribe to the United Party's selfish political ideology, you will not be given the opportunity to serve. So that list, it reminds us about what led to the country 14 years of civil war, because society got divided on tribal lines, on political lines, on religious lines, on ethnic lines. When you are a president for a country, you are not a president for a particular country, for a particular religion, for a particular tribe, and a particular region. That's why they say you are president of Liberia and you are president for all Liberians. But it's unfortunate that this old man, Mr. Joseph Imam Boakai, has contradicted every other law that has to do with the liberalization policy, that has to do with the issue of nationalizing and providing patriotism across the country, and not going to what we keep on doing the civil unrest in our country by projecting one group of people over another group of people simply because they do not subscribe to the political persuasion or belief system.
Thank you. So that brings us to the rule of law and governance. And before I ask my question, let me remind you and our listeners, during the CDC time, we were told that the rule of law did not even exist, and that the country was more of a country of men. People even held the belief that President Weah was a dictator. And you have been politically active, and you remember, these lines, of political debate. Fast forward here, we are honoring President Joseph Imam Boakai, the Unity Party again. And so I want you to assess the rule of law and governance, honor the CDC and the Unity Party of Joseph Imam Boakai. So I ask this question when it comes to governance and the rule of law. Honor the CDC government, we witness others hold a view, repeated violations of procurement laws and judicial interferences. In some cases, the abuse of power, others argue on the CDC. How do you reconcile these actions with your party's stated commitment to democratic governance and the rule of law? And let me cite one instance again to give you the opportunity to speak to that clearly. I am aware of violence on the main campus of the University of Liberia, where you went to school. I remember very well Comrade Christopher Waters Susulu was brutalized at the U.S. Embassy. And I'm not sure your government went to this young man's aid. All he said that was his crime for being brutalized was face the country. That was the protest. CDC counter-protested against the students, and that led to his brutalization and nearly died. I don't see the CDC going to his head. So speak to me. You profess good governance and rule of law, as well as the Unity Party. You think you did a better job compared to the Unity Party? Go ahead, Mr. Wilson. All right, folks, bear with us. There might be some connection issue at the end of my guess. Things should settle and he should be with us here. You are watching Focus on Liberia. Manson is here hosting. This is the hour of politics. Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things.
Let me say this.
Yeah, we are having some technical issue at your end. Okay, I just see that you have returned. Go ahead. You got my question, correct?
Yes, as I was saying, I do not promote violence, and I come against violence in all forms and manners. It doesn't matter who is engaged and who's involved. Violence is against anybody is make blatant allegations or insinuations about because of an isolated incident. Therefore, there was never a fair share in terms of demonstrating rule of law under the CDC administration. Then want to take a back, because when you talk about rule of law, you cannot hold on an isolated case, right? We believe that rule of law transcends and encompasses just what happened to Geo Comrade Christopher Waters Susuru. We all condemn that. But in terms of the general outlook of the rule of law with respect to the issues of upholding the fabric of the Constitution and the different law enforcement agencies in our country, you realize that the CDC administration demonstrated excellence and demonstrated what we term as the best practices that are in line with our Constitution in terms of protecting human rights, in terms of protecting civil liberties, in terms of protecting civil disobedience in our country, and also providing the enabling environment for citizens to have coexistence, peace, and security in our country. So when you talk about the rule of law under CDC, you look at key indicators, for example. You look at the court, for example. You look at the three branches of government. Did the CDC administration interfere with the three branches of government in terms of breaking down the different infrastructures of the three branches of government? We never done that. We never did that. We never did that in terms of undermining the three branches of government that is being done under the Boakai administration. When it comes to the law enforcement agencies, when you look at rule of law, one of the areas you also look at, which is one of the indicators, has to do with the law enforcement agencies. Now, when you, as a student of criminal justice, law enforcement, in terms of what the law enforcement entities or agencies are supposed to do, majority of these institutions, their statutory and functional responsibility or obligation to the state and people is to do two things. One, to protect lives. Two, to protect properties. Let's go back to the CDC administration. During our time, we never chased after people, went to people's houses, arbitrarily evicted them, evacuated or evaded them from their houses. We also did not abuse the Liberia National Police, for example, to start to go after political opponents that is being done during the time of the legislative impasse at the legislature. For example, there's what happened at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. For example, what happened in Jacob time and what happened in Grand Cape County, the massacre of a couple of Liberians who came out in defense of the mineral and natural resources, and they were shot dead by the reckless posturing of the Liberia National Police. But when we took over the government, we institutionalized democratic policing in this country. I can remember, and you were in the press, and you are still here. June 7 protests. The most talk about June 7 protests. A protest that attempted to overthrow the former president and the former CDC government. You saw how, with all of the comments and all of the different political machinations to subvert the peace and security of the country, to overthrow the government. Yet and still, we protected protesters. June 7, they went at the executive mansion. That is the highest form of rule of law. That when we talk about rule of law, we talk about the rights of the people to constitutionally and democratically assemble, where they can assemble to petition the government, and at the same time, they can hold certain opinion, which has been guaranteed by Article 15 of the Liberian Constitution, freedom of expression, and Article 17 of the Liberian Constitution, freedom of assembly. We did that. And our police director at the time institutionalized or instituted what we call democratic policing, community policing, and June 7 protests was very, very organized, and the government never.
And so we said, talking about the protests, others observed that at the time you lost the political narrative. The debate was against you. Your backs were against the wall, and the international community, you had lost favor with them, and so you could not use force, because doing so you knew would give you bad credentials in terms of your democratic resume as a political party, and so you succumb to pressure at the time. That's how others see it. Your response?
Now, I think the first thing is that when you talk about people losing the political narrative, then the question it bears the question about who determines who is in charge of the political narrative or not. Because when talking about
the people,
so when talking about the people, we are not talking about a few macro nationalists or forces with parochial political archetypement, like those who just lost election during the time we took over 12 years on early who were bitter. So I mean that those people do not constitute the Liberian people. We have at the time we had, I think, 4 million people in our country, 4.5 million people in our country at the time. Mm-hmm. And you did not see 4.5 million people coming outside on the street. So that number you talked about did not constitute the numerical majority of the vast population of the Liberian people in terms of coming out. And so in terms of your argument, or those who making the argument about us losing the narrative at the time.
Mr. Weah, in terms of political representation, activism, not every citizen will gather. They'll be represented by a few or some. You know that.
No, it's segment of the disgruntled political elite who got repugnant about losing different positions in government, put few elements of reactions and backwardness around themselves. They went to the executive mansion. You saw how they were dispersed after 4 p.m., 5 p.m.
So even you, as a political institution who boasts of having the numbers, when you call for even your 1 million man rally, it's not everybody that got it. You don't even get 1 million. But the group or the people that come out represent an embodiment of your political following. Isn't it what that was?
I think it was a sharp contrast to what we saw over there. First of all, the amount of resources. Let me say this to you, comrade. The amount of resources, the publicity, the number of stake actors and stakeholders, the politicians, and political leaders of different political institutions that assemble at that place. People pronosticated. They have a different political clairvoyance about how the protest would have been in terms of being very massive protests. The protest would have been very, very, very powerful one to torpedo the regime, to overthrow the regime, because that what they were saying. They were saying Georgia must step down. They were talking about incessant protest. They were talking about protests, sporadic protest that will go for 1, 2, 3 weeks. That's what they were saying to us.
Are you saying that was a failed protest?
It was a failed protest because the objective of the protest was to call for Weah's resignation. Look, in the protest, we saw the letters of Benina Yuri. We saw the letters of Darius Dillon. Look in the protest, even Joseph Newman, Boakai, Elisan Kumi. Those are political leaders of different political parties who participated at the protest or in the protest on June 7. And if you go back to that video of all of the publicities and the resources being galvanized and amalgamated, and the outcome of the protest was a colossal failure. I can say that to you, and that's why we demonstrated a high level of democratic civility. We ensure that they had the opportunity to assemble even before the executive mansion, and nobody experienced arrest or brutal police invasion, needs to talk about, political prisoners and those people who express their opinions and went at the protest scene. Nobody tear gas them or inflicted wounds and casualty on them. And there's no record of major actors and protest leaders being placed behind bars under our administration, led by Liberia's most venerated patron, His Excellency President George Manuel Weah. Unless
even though there are records of some security personnel brutalizing some citizens, my memory is fresh about a gentleman who has been advocating for War Crime Court, who was brutalized, I think, at the Foreign Affairs Ministry. That was when Foreign Affairs were being used at the main office of the president. All right. Emmanuel Savas is the gentleman I'm talking about. According to him, he was brutalized by one Gaddafi, who was very close to the presidency at the time, who were providing, I think, executive protection for the president or some higher ups there. He got brutalized, and we saw him working with stick. I'm not sure he was held accountable.
Well, like I said to you, in terms of the records, the official records of the rule of law under our government, with respect to protecting the peace and security of our country, with respect to promoting democratic tenets under our administration, we had some experiences.
Are you conceding to some excesses by some members of your security forces at the time? Is that what I'm hearing?
No. When you excesses, then it become more.
So you treat that as isolated incidents. Is that what you're trying to say?
So those are isolated incidents,
but those incidents were not dealt with. If you are trying to champion your resume when it comes to rule of law and governance, then you needed to deal with those individuals who exhibited bad behavior during the time.
There always be different in society.
I agree, but deal with them.
Yeah. I'm saying to you, you are struggling. You are struggling to point out excesses on our.
I'm not struggling. I'm citing instances, and I'm giving you opportunity to respond.
I'm saying. It is all right. It's all right. It is all right as a responsible and professional journalist to make these. To ask these questions. I'm just saying to you that that I know is struggling to get some balances in terms of pointing out instances. So these are just minor contradictions and minor instances. I'm giving you a generic overview.
A Liberian citizen. A Liberian citizen was brutalized by a security personnel close to the presidency, and you call that manner, Mr. Wizard?
I'm saying to you, if you do a generic profiling of the law enforcement agencies, they are working, their modus operandi and modus vivendi in terms of their operations under President Weah. I'm telling you that the few minor cases or incident cases are not proportional to what we are experiencing, are not proportional to what we experiencing on the current replica of the anti-terrorist unit, the SOD, and the malicious and janjaweed form of leadership we have on Boakai and Governor Common. That's what I'm saying to you. So I'm not here to tell you that under the CDC administration, there were no incident cases in terms of different actors within the bailiwick of the Liberian National Police. That is not my conversation. But if you do an aggregate,
I don't want to bore you with instances.
If you do an aggregate, if you do an aggregate analysis across the profiling of the law enforcement institutions with respect to the rule of law, I think the real excesses can be found in the United Party administration with the regular posturing of the police you see on Boakai and Governor Common. You know very well there's a huge step squad. This is the first time unprecedented in this country come and see it. That you see,
and that's the thing with you, the political actors, Avin. Just as you are accusing the current government of having death squad, you heard that they accuse you of having death squad, and that there were individuals that were in your government going after your perceived political enemies. We have that narrative out there, but let's leave it. Let's come to something else. I'm enjoying the conversation, by the way. Let's come to youth empowerment and education. And let's start with youth empowerment, Mr. Weah. On youth empowerment, yes, my question. On youth empowerment, yes, my question. Your administration often use youth mobilization for political rallies, and you know that. You have benefited from that significantly in terms of political, calculation. Yet, you fail, others argue, to institutionalize youth development programs. How do you respond to claims that the CDC exploited youth energy without investing in the future of the youth? There must be technical problem at the end of Comrade Weah there. So folks, bear with us. You are watching Focus on Liberia. I'm Anthony Sear. This is our program, The Hour of Politics. We have with us Mr. Alvin Weah. He is the Vice Chairman for Political Education at the CDC. He served as Assistant Minister for Regional Development and Extension at the Ministry of Agriculture during the time of the CDC. Bear with us. He will reconnect and we will continue the conversation. I'm in this exclusive interview with Mr. Alvin Weah. Bear with us. Mr. Weah should be joining us. Don't go anywhere. You're going to enjoy this interview. It promises to be informative. It promises to be provocative. And, I'm going to do my best to ask the relevant and tough questions. Stay tuned as we take a short break to reconnect with Mr. Weah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Anthony Sear, and we are back with you. Our guest is yet to reconnect with us. There must be some technical issue definitely at his hand. I see him coming in. Bear with us. He is coming back and he will join us. And let's hope we can connect with Mr. Weah as quickly as possible to continue on this very important discussion. This discussion is very important, and I want us to continue this discussion. Mr. Weah is making all the effort to join us for us to continue the discussion. And so while we wait for him, I want to take another break and we'll be right back.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Asonisie, and we are back with you. We are reconnecting with our guest. He just logged in. He's making some adjustment at his end there. Here we go. All right. We apologize for the technical issue. There. I hope our service providers in Liberia will do a much better job. Okay. Can you unmute there, Mr. Wisa? That's good. Do you want me to restate my question on youth empowerment?
Yes, please.
Oh, all right. Thank you. So my question on youth empowerment was, your administration, the CDC administration, often use youth mobilization for political rallies. Yet, all I believe, you fail to institutionalize youth development programs. How do you respond to claims that CDC exploited youth energy without investing in the future of the youth?
I think those who say and make the argument are probably they are using different political spectacle or political lens to misjudge the CDC's genuine plan in empowering young people and in terms of youth empowerment in the country. As you know, first of all, the first thing to empower any given youthful generation of population in terms of youth empowerment, one has to look at the educational system and the educational spectrum of our society. No society can make substantial development or progress. No society can improve substantially in terms of growth in terms of development without putting emphasis on education. Because education is the benchmark to any society growth and development. So what we did on our administration, and I'd like to say thanks to the former president of the country, the first thing we did on our administration, we moved to youth empowerment. How do you empower youth? You begin with capital, we call human resource development. Human resource development is a genuine force and genuine panacea or compass or path or wavelength to youth empowerment. Because if you empower the mind, automatically you're empowering the generation, you are empowering the next engineers, the next accountants, economists, business moguls, you're empowering the next set of people, professionals, and technicians who are going to run the country. So we declared free tuition and one policy, which was clearly on human resource development, human capital development. We were key on that. We declared free tuition across public universities and colleges. The next thing we did was to institutionalize the proclamation of what is construed now in the history of the Congress for Democratic Change under the Weah's administration as the WAS policy. We understood very well that many of our parents are economically challenged and they are dispossessed in terms of resource mobilization to educate their children for the greater future. Some of them never had access to tuition and fees in terms of the WAS, but they don't have WAS fees to pay. So the government been very responsible and cognizant about the excruciating economic condition, declare that all school-going kids who sat for national examination, the government will handle the responsibility. That is a form of youth empowerment. That is a form of youth development in our country. Then we went on other areas that we explored to provide opportunities for people. For example, in the different development trajectory that we made intervention in all the places we have opportunities around. We're building roads here. We empower young people as well. We're building hospitals. We're building schools, proper housing units. Young people's skills were being recruited to be deployed at the service of implementing some of those projects under the Weah's administration. We've done that. We also went as empowering vocational institutions, for example, the TVET, to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We led a couple of programs there, for example, the Bishop Waterway program and other programs that provide temporary empowerment opportunity for young people. Then at the central governance level, you saw for the very first time sons and daughters of the people, the indigenous masses, the children of the West Point and Edo community, Clarendon, Butuo, Toli, and all these places, Maryland, Plebo, Sando, the very first time they were given opportunity to have them represented in the government as key players at the decision makers and effective participants in driving national development to our people. So people's children were represented for the first time. You saw Mamasi Kaba, Chelsea coaching, all these young people who come from the Nandia or the lowest background of our society were also included to make decisions to come on the table of governance and to shift national paradigm in terms of leadership and implementing some of the policies of the proposed agenda for prosperity and development. So holistically, when we talk about youth empowerment, we were very, very, very much magnanimous in our actions, and we're also very, very
All right. Thank you, there, Mr. Weah. So, yeah, are you there with me?
Interventions are what we just said on your platform. So yes, we made significant impact as opposed to.
Thank you. All right. There was some difficulty with the transmission there. I think it's better now. So, Mr. Weah, you know the history of your political leader, President Weah. His story is one that is known to nearly every Liberian. He became who he became because of football. And so when he became president, there were others who felt that even if President Weah would fail in some areas, it would not be football. Under President Weah, there are others who hold the view so strongly that it was a monumental failure. Lone Star did not qualify for anything. Lone Star did not win anything. The national team did not do well. In fact, under President Weah, some people call him the football president because of his, expertise in that area. This is an icon of football, a global icon for that matter. The only African, so to speak, to win the Ballon d'Or. This is the man we're talking about here. Football made him. And he became president, and Liberia rating was downgraded. I want you to speak to that. Some people use that as a measurement when it comes to youth empowerment. Now, President, we have failed. Your response, sir?
Yeah, so in terms of the issue about Liberia Lone Star, for example, I think it is unfair enough to shift the blame. In this country, it's very easy to shift blame. Every generation has a mission. That was the Algerian revolutionary by the name of Franz Fanon said. Every generation has a mission. The generation of George Weah, His Excellency, former president of the Republic of Liberia, James Diba, Kevin Segbe, it's not the generation that we see today. And every generation has to accomplish its own mission. You cannot blame another generation for the blatant refusal of a particular generation to take charge of her own destiny and to take charge of her own future. How can you blame?
Mr. Wilson, we're talking about leadership. We're talking about programs. Under President Weah.
You can have all of the leaderships. You can have all of the supports. If we do not have the talented, multi-dimensional and multifaceted skills.
So talk to me about the programs. Talk to me about programs, soccer program during your term.
We during our term, we have Ministry of Youth and Sports. We refurbished the SKD. We provided opportunity for people to go play international games and domestic matches. They have opportunity to display their football gymnastics. It is not the president's responsibility to go on the field, to go school, go for them. Like, because he's just, you have to represent your own generation. You have to represent your
I'm not talking about the president getting on the field. I'm talking about, programs intended to produce a national team, to produce another world best from Liberia.
So the issue about world best is not an inheritance. I want to say that to all those are making that argument. Some of the naysayers and detractors who are fabricating, political fairy tales and lies. The issue about world best is not an inheritance. It's something that you must earn. You must work for. You understand? More to that. Let's go. Under our administration, under Georgia administration, one of the easier ways to generate players and to promote sporting activities is through the national country meet. You know about that. We were in this country.
But the national country league event arise, not anything new.
No, I'm saying to you, we saw the president of the former president. We saw his president at different games, motivating players, at the same time encouraging them to do well in terms of forming part of victory, forming part of the national team and making progress in everything. I mean, that was a genuine step towards supporting sports. I just trying to give you some of the basics. Not only that, let's go to the issue about recruiting small talents in the communities. What he did, it was unprecedented in Liberia. You saw the very mini stadium that he organized across the country. For example, in Central Monrovia or Monrovia is Zimbabwe, you saw, the PHP part, for example, where people who got talents, they will have to go there, display and then improve their skills. For example, Invisible Park, it's another mini stadium or park organized for people to go and display their talents. Then you go to the Door Community or park as well with a fee. Then you go to West Point and go across. You see that this president has contributed immensely in sport development, in youth development, and created more opportunity for recreation, recreational centers to be established and built, so that people who have talents can have opportunity to form part of all our major events and sporting activities in our country. So it is left with the Liberia national team. So what happened on Boakai now? What happened on the rescue? They said they'll come to rescue.
But before you get to the rescue, I'll give you opportunity because I want you to compare how you did and how they are doing. Even if you can go back to the previous Unity Party government, I'm okay with that because you people are the two major political forces in our country. So you have to hold each other accountable, and we, the media, will be in the middle. So my follow-up here is that when you look at, football that we are talking about, people are pointing to programs. They're not saying President Weah needed to be the referee, he needed to be the coach. I mean, he done that, he passed that, right? And they wanted to see, major programs, and people are saying that they didn't see it. I mean, he played for Grand Crew. I mean, what is that? You know, he earned it all. And so people feel that that was not the thing. They wanted to see leadership. So the question I want to ask is that what was the budget? He was a football president. What budget? Because when President Weah was playing football, and you remember, it was President Doe who was chipping in here and there. And Doe was providing that symbolic leadership that President Weah also showed. But we wanted, because at some point it's been reported that at some point President Weah had to shoulder the responsibility of the national team to go and play on behalf of the country. So when he became president, people felt that now that he's president, when he could use his own money as other, provided, now that he's president and he's in charge of the national coffers, he will advocate for, significant amount of money to be placed in the budget so that the Lone Star he wanted to see will be produced under his president. So how much did you put in the budget for the national team compared to what was put in the budget for the president and the NSA?
Well, I'm not clocked on the information, particularly to that question about the exact amount that was placed within the budget. I want to be on record that I'm not clocked with that information. I may research it after the show, and maybe we can better inform the public on that, because I was not associated in terms of the Ministry of Youth and Sport. But what I do know is that I think the greater motivation has to come from the players themselves. I can say this to you, Commissaire. You can have all of the budgets. If you do not have the motivational rudiments and factors that can lead the Liberal national team to victory, we're not going to go anywhere soon. For example, under the circumstances that George Weah and his generation play on, they know how all of the support. They know how all of the support, right? Even during the dispensation and governance of former President Doe, the late President Doe, coming to President Charles Taylor, we can remember that War of 40 when the national team were making history.
So that's the point I'm missing. We said, if I can interject, you are intellectual here. So the funding for football at the time was minimum because those leaders didn't know the importance and they didn't have much interest in sports. So when we got a sporting president, people were of the belief that he, knowing the importance of sports, football in particular, will put a significant amount of money in the budget, and that was not the case, Mr. Weezer.
Yeah, so you like I said to you, that budget does not only contribute. It's not the reason why Lone Star is losing games. I don't want to believe that. If people are making,
well, at least it will project your priority. It was not a priority.
I'm saying to you, you can have all of the best stadiums. You can have all of the best football pitches in this country with huge potential allocation. There are countries around the world that have all of the budgets, but they are not going to World Cup. They have never qualified anywhere in major tournaments around the world. So if people are making,
I agree, but at least they don't have that deficiency. At least they don't have that deficiency.
Yeah. Hold on now. So if people are making an argument about money is not the only conduit for providing, and it's not only justification why the loser of the Liberal national team is not winning games. It's not winning games. So I'm talking back to the days of Doe. I took it back to the days of Doe. I took it back to the days of Charles Taylor. Let's go back to the days of Charles Taylor when war was fighting the country. What was the budget at the time? It was on the basis of talent and the potential of the players. The players were placed at the heart of nationalism and patriotism.
Are you suggesting that we don't have talents today, Mr. Weezer?
I am telling you, if we have talent, they'll be justified by the number of trophies and victories that Lone Star is getting.
So I believe that we have talents today. It's just a lack of leadership. It's just a lot of programs and funding.
Talent, look, you can have all the programs. If you do not have talent, you cannot bring results. You cannot bring results. If you do not have talent, you cannot bring victory to the Liberal national team. If you do not have talent, Lone Star will be beaten persistently. I mean, perpetually. So we should not argue because how many billions of dollars or how many millions. No. Okay, allotting billions or millions of dollars to the Liberia national team without the requisite talents being displayed on the field. It's meaningless. So why you will be allotted? I mean, what you be allotting to them? I'm saying to you, the Liberia national team must be able in her own generation to take her own battles on her heads, to take her own generation at how do you call at World Cup or other tournament. You have to do that. When your generation did not reach, your generation can reach there. And we have to stop the blinking. We got to stop the blinking. When Georgia they were playing, some of them don't have opportunity. The money football has now. You want to talk about Georgia generation? The money football has now. The capacity football has now. The support football has now around the world. And I tell you, it was at the peak of racism. Come and see it. What are you talking so?
And that is why, Comrade Weah.
Hold on, come and see it. When black people are not being given opportunity, people defy racial segregation and discrimination and lift up the banner of Lone Star. What are you talking about? They lifted the flag of Lone Star. And you have a generation that have all what it takes. What it takes. Go to the Guineans, go to the Africans, go and see how the companies are displaying their talent and their own major clubs. So we need to encourage some of our brothers and sisters, some of our brothers on the Liberia national team to
Mr. Weah, the reality is that some of the countries that you mentioned, they have much better support, much better programs, and even much better facilities than us. It is a reality that we must acknowledge. And people expected much, much better, given that football made president, they expected much. Let's leave it there. Let's go to another issue here. Let's go to the economic issue here, the bread and butter issue, as you pull it, Mr. Weah. Let's talk about that. That will be the last segment here. And by the way, Mr. Weah, someone is requesting a debate with you. We'll organize it. I know you will not let us down. You are always prepared.
Who's the person that wants to debate?
That is Comrade Konyene Freeman. The comrade is intellectually strong.
What his position?
He's a big critic of the CDC. I can tell you that.
Which institution you come from, please?
Right now, I understand from him that he's not with any party. But before he was with the Unity Party, according to him, the first term of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, he was with the Unity Party, voted for the Unity Party, and left. And so right now, according to him, he's a free political agent. So that comrade is a big critic of the CDC. He's prepared to engage you intellectually.
So I don't want to debate with somebody who's a free agent that is politically homeless, ideologically homeless.
The comrade is a Liberian citizen. Who cares about the governance of the country? You should engage in.
The first thing is you have.
So, Comrade Weah, you want to tell me who the people who are active in party politics you engage with?
Bring somebody. Why you have a platform, very good platform. Bring somebody from the party.
Okay.
Bring an official from the party. Go for Daniel Sando. I don't want to discuss somebody who is a pedestrian passing all around with no ideological alignment and relationship. Don't reduce me to that level.
All right, Mr. Weah, I'll get you somebody from the Unity Party. I'll do my best. I'll let you know.
Yeah, bring an official from the Unity Party who is an official. I'm a level assistant minister. Maybe you can bring somebody who an official. Bring the less of Mo Ali. Bring the less of Daniel Sado. They have conversation.
Okay, I will do my best, and I will let you know once I get somebody. Let's go to our final issue here, Mr. Weah. Let's talk about easing economic conditions. All right, Liberians face worsening inflation and unemployment on the CDC, according to the statistics. Can you point to any measurable economic interventions that tangibly improve livelihoods, especially for rural communities? I can repeat my question. It seems to be there's. Did you get my question clearly, Mr. Weah?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, thank you.
So when it comes to the economic condition and outlook under President Weah, when we took over, you know that we met a very um, uh, devastating economy. Even prior to that, the former president Ellen Johnson said that we should tighten our belt, and you saw the condition we took over the country over. I mean, under the circumstance where oil milk dropped down, there was a drawdown of oil milk. We experienced Ebola and everything. When we took over, we have a paradigm shift on national governance in our country. So the first thing we did was to institutionalize structural measures to be able to put policy in place, to put in strategic policies that will be able to set, reset the economy and reboot the brain economy. So, for example, we look at major decision. For example, we deal with issue of harmonization. We realize that people in the public service or the government at the time, there was huge disparity in terms of their wages, in terms of their salaries. So what we did was to create salary stability in terms of, people who are making huge salaries should be brought at a level where, I mean, where their salaries could be equated to the level of job we were doing. For example, if you were a minister, driver in Ministry of Agriculture and you're making 1,000, and we know that the other ministry, for example, Ministry of Finance, driver assigned to a particular minister is making 400. We brought it at the level where there would have been some level of stability and equilibrium in place in terms of salary. So the harmonization policy came, and that was very good, and it reduced what we call lavish spending and the issue about the waste and of public resources and everything. Then we come to the issues about the some of the major interventions that shifted economic development in our country. Nowhere in the world that one can talk about the economy and ignore the importance of road connectivity and the importance of road development in our country. We targeted major roads in Central Monrovia, Nima, and other counties, River G, Maryland, to speak so that we open the corridors for major economic activities to go on. There where the market forces can interact when there is transportation, goods and services will be able to flow, and then there'll be a circular flow in terms of economic activities in the country. So look at road intervention, for example. Then we went into infrastructure development. We created market buildings and market infrastructure for business activities to go. Don't forget, you cannot talk about the economy if there's no transaction in the market. Between buyers and the sellers, market transactions and businesses of different enterprises have to go on. We organized, we built the Douala market, for example. We also build the market in Douala, Red Lake, which is the Govertor market, right? And other different markets, the ones we build in Plibo, and I can remember some of the markets we built in Grand Basso and other parts of the country. So those things are the interventions we made that stimulated economic development in our country. On the issues about macroeconomic stability, we managed to sustain and maintain the rate under our government, right? We did that, and we institutionalized other different measures to get Liberians, for example, the rice price under our administration to ensure that we give importers who were engaged in the importation of rice $13 billion United States dollar subsidies so that they can reduce and stabilize the rice price at a particular price. I think around $13 to $14. That's what we did when we took over and under our leadership. So yes, at first we experienced some shocks, we experienced some challenges, coupled with the COVID-19 almost drawdown. But when we took over the economy, we begin to resuscitate the economy. We begin to improve the condition of the people by building roads, building housing units, building market structures, building facilities, empowering educational in the educational sector, moving into agriculture and giving microfinance and loans, credit facilities to farmers through our different projects at the Ministry of Agriculture. I can remember we initiated 2 different projects that went across 11 counties, particularly with the RETRA project, which is the Regional Agriculture Transformation Project, regional agriculture transformation project, and we also deal with the RICHA and the STAPI project, which is the smallholder agriculture transformation projects. Those projects were developed under our administration, and we developed matching grants at the same time boards of farm input and supply to our farmers who were targeted as beneficiaries and recipients of the different programs that were initiating under the Ministry of Agriculture under the then government of President George Manuel Weah. So in terms of the economy, to a larger extent, given the COVID-19 shock, where major businesses and institutions were paused, there was serious disconnect between the market and the Liberian people. We also gave through the World Bank. We support that, we empower our people by giving some level of empowerment to them. And so yes, at that level, we made some interventions, and we leverage some opportunity to Liberian people.
Two questions quickly. Many believe that when you took over, some Liberians were hungry, but the number of hungry Liberians grew under your watch. And the other side is that you serve as assistant minister for regional development. Talk to me, what specific achievement can you share with me and my audience under your leadership as assistant minister at the Ministry of Agriculture?
So like I stated to you, as assistant minister for extension and development, regional development research, first of all, that position is directly proportional to all farming activities in the 15 counties, and that's why the Ministry of Agriculture is a mirror in the 15 sub-political divisions. Each county has an agricultural coordinator, which we call the CAC, the County Agricultural Coordinator, the CAC. Then from the CAC, we have the RAC, the Regional Agricultural Coordinator. So these coordinators in the 15 counties, they are positioned, they are stationed in those counties to particularly superintend and supervise farming activities and also provide extension advisory services to our farmers. So like I told you about the projects, there are a lot of projects, but two major projects that we crafted and we implemented on our administration. Like I said, the Regional Economic Transformation Project, which is the RETRAP, and we also had the STAPI project, which is the Smallholder Agricultural Transformation Project, STAPI. They were all funded by World Bank and the African Development Bank. Under our administration, we did two things. One, we provided farm input or supply, the one called tools, to our farmers, and two, we provided matching grants. We gave microfinance to farmers, because the issue about contemporary farming and modern farming is capital intensive. So it requires both capital and labor for farmers to enhance their productive capacity. So at the Ministry of Agriculture, the role of the Extension Department was to transport knowledge to farmers. We talk about the knowledge, we talk about extension advisory services to advise farmers. That is the major function of the Department of Extension. What it talks about research, that area is where she and Carrie now will have a relationship. That is what brings Carrie to the extension area. Where people say, oh, we know, having we say what presided, what Carrie know. The extension department is a bridge between Carrie to that of the farmers. So what does Carrie do in terms of research? Carrie does the research, discover new methodologies, new plans, new techniques of farming in Liberia. When that is done, the messaging component of it, the communication component of it, the transporting of that knowledge transfer from Carrie, which is the research center, to the rest of the farmers across the countries is the role of the extension advisory service provider. It is the role of the extension advisory service provider to now take the message. So, oh, yes, we have this new variety that is growing for 1 month or that has been discovered. If there's any advice on maybe outbreak and thing, how do we ensure that those outbreaks are dealt with? I mean, the scientists are there who make the research and who come out with recommendation as to what is needed for farmers to do in terms of enhancing productivity and expanding their productive capacity. So at our level, we not only implement our statutory function and responsibility, but at our level, generally as a government, we reduce tariff on agro input materials that enter the country during our time, because we know that you cannot develop the agricultural sector when the cost of production is very high. When the cost of production is high, when we talk about cost of production, we talk about access to chemical, access to agro input supplies, we talk about the different tools that are needed for people to go invest in the soil. When those tools are expensive, when the cost of production is expensive, and the purchasing power of the farmer is less, and the farmer cannot afford, local production in Liberia will not transform and will not improve. So to develop the agricultural sector, our government, through the president executive order, we throughout our government, we declare that tariff specifically only on agro input in the country should be free. They should waive the tariff on agro inputs in the country so that our people can have access to affordable implements, affordable tools and instruments that are necessary to accelerating agronomic development and transforming the agricultural sector of our country. So at our time, we distributed tools from inputs, we gave them supply, and at the same time, we provided extension advisory services in terms of what better advice that farmers need on the field to be able to prevent them from pestilence, to be able to prevent them from certain outbreaks that have the propensity to create low what we call return in terms of that investment, because the soil in itself is a deposit. When you deposit in the soil, there's an expectation that you reap the deposit or you harvest the deposit of the soil. So part of our responsibility, more to that, the Ministry of Agriculture under our administration, if there's a place called, I think, B-Play, they will pay some roads. Yes, there were road components under our administration, under the projects. We pay some roads as well, because we understood very well that agronomic development cannot improve substantially if there's no farm to market road. So in order to have farm to market road, you need to first of all develop the path to creating such environment. So we build roads in Lima and other places. We build roads through those projects. Yeah.
Mr. Wizard, thank you. Our time is out now. We have been here for an hour and 30 minutes. This is the hour of politics. We try to keep it to 1 hour. Because of the disconnection, we have to extend it a little bit. We can't thank you enough for making the time. We will now give you the opportunity to give your closing remarks in at least a minute. We will do our best to get somebody who can debate you and probably defeat you in the debate.
Well, I don't like to profess as a debater. If people want to debate, they want to defeat me, they don't defeat the growing economic crisis in the country, they don't defeat the high tuition and fees in the country, they don't defeat the hardship in the country. I think they can debate with the lawlessness and the ruthlessness of the irresponsible Liberia National Police. They can debate with the number of death cases across the country by the issues of the different news that we're hearing all around the country in terms of how the spark and die Andrew drugs is killing Liberian people. There's huge job presence in the country. They can debate with the prices of essential commodities and goods in this country. They can debate with the backward, devastating health sector and deplorable system that we have across this country. Today we go to JFK, it's appalling. You go to the different hospital Phoebe, you go to redemption across the country. It's appalling. Those are things I want them to do. Then they debate with the 10,000. They said they were bringing 10,000. There come debate with the yellow machine, the 285 yellow machine. Then they can debate how far they've gone with increment in salaries of civil service. Then they can debate how many jobs that they have created now, both in the private sector, private sector and the public sector. So we look forward to those kind of debates. Then they tell how many jobs they have created for the Liberian people, and then they tell how many investors they have brought in the country. Nothing, comrade. Nothing to debate. Nothing to debate. The only thing we see here is that President Weah President Boakai is uselessly traveling all around the place. The last time he went to Japan, he came back with deepening classes to go today. He's gone back to America. He'll come back with good English. This man is very macho in fire. This man is running the latest lessons. 2.4 million United States. While the health sector is in deplorable condition, while teachers are yet to receive pay on the university campuses, and while students are schools are expressing low enrollment because the parents cannot afford. So I mean, there's nothing to debate. There's nothing to debate. But again, we are prepared by your invitation. We will come at their invitation if need be to be able to stretch the argument. But as far as we're concerned, there's nothing to debate because the real issues, the appalling conditions, the material conditions, the concrete conditions, the bread and butter issues in the country are overwhelming that anybody can debate the kind of system of governance we have in our country. But for the sake of intellectual discourse and maybe certifying our political appetite, it is important for us to bring somebody very knowledgeable who is an official of the United Party. I don't want to debate a low-profile political pedestrian or a lotterer who is struggling to find a barrier in terms of political lineage and political alignment. Let's debate somebody who comes with a United Party's background so that we can tell them that they're responsible for this. And I don't want to debate somebody who will say, oh no, and I'm part of the other political party. No, I want to debate your standard bearer and debate their policies and then have that conversation.
All right. Mr. Weah, thank you for sitting with me today. Your responses have added texture to the popular record, and I trust our listeners and the Liberian people will judge you calmly, fairly, and critically. To the Liberian people, our democracy demands more than memory. It demands accountability. An interview like this is not an end in itself, but a tool for civic clarity. Whether you agree with Comrade Weah or you disagree with him, what he has said today, let it fuel your resolve to stay engaged, ask hard questions, and build the Liberia we deserve. Until next time, I'm Anthony Sie, committed to truth, legacy, and the power of a public dialogue. Mr. Weah, again, we thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We will not hesitate to reach out to you again, for we believe young comrades like you, with the fire in them for national governance, will always put yourself forth to share your thoughts. For when we discuss the issue, that will foster the kind of nationalism we need and not the fighting that took us to war. We can't thank you enough. Have a good day. We will now close with the song that says, we are all Liberians. Bye-bye, everybody.
We are Liberians. Liberians.